On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt returns to the live stream scene to break down Empire's 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time list. He will tackle characters ranked 50 through 26, so make sure to tune in to part 2 next week, where he and Nick will finish analyzing picks 25 through 1. For now, though, what does Matt think about Empire's tail-end choices? Stay tuned to find out. Of course, he'll end the show with Question of the Week responses and the latest round of Top 5 Star Wars fan artist features. Punch it, Chewie.
Hey now, my friends, welcome back. It's the live version of the Star Wars Time Show. If I could actually get this damn thing off the vertical stream here. We got all sorts of fun stuff happening here. Let's go ahead and take you off. Take that off. There we go. Hey, Kramer, what's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so hey, this is the new cadence here. We got a pre-record last week. That means you get a live stream on Wednesday, 6 o'clock. All Star Wars Time Show shows released these days. So good to see you. Hopefully get some people to join in. Looks like we got Kramer hanging out in here as usual. Good to see you. All right, so I'm gonna kind of stay on point here. Get right to things, as they say. And open up with a little Ask Us Anything. That's right, people. Can everyone hear me? Is anyone alive? Hello? Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Oh, there we go. All right. So, yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I would still prefer just doing the Wednesday live with Nick, but this is where we're at. And I will do my best to deliver a live performance to you. It's always good to see Kramer in here. Let's see if anyone else shows up, like I said. Either way, hey, Adam Burkhead Toys, what's going on? There is Phil, that's right. What it is something. It is something these days, Phil. I get a little lost sometimes when young Nick isn't here, but we will get by. Hey there, Gold Garcia, what's going on? Hello, hello, hello. All right, like I said, there's no reason to waste time. There's only one guy going here. I talk all the time anyway, so welcome. Here we go. Like I said, we typically open the SWTS with a little Ask Us Anything. So let's see what the fans wanted to know this week. Our big topic this week and next, so Nick and I are going to continue the main topic next week in the pre-record, but we're kind of analyzing Empire Magazine, that is. They put out their top 50, or their 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all freaking time last week. So, you know, content creators have been running with it. I figured, why not? I feel like I'm a little lazy this week. I've got some obligations to a longtime friend for something that's kind of depressing that I got to dedicate a lot of my time and focus to. So no reason cooking up something new. Let's just go ahead and poke holes in Empire's 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time list. All right. So let's get moving. We got to get moving because Phil's got to take care of the kids. So we want to try and maximize his time here on the show. All right, let me go ahead and get these Ask Us Anything questions ready. We did get some, lo and behold. We can't always guarantee that we're going to get one, but we did get some. I'm not going to make you a moderator, homeboy. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, good try. There's all sorts of things broken in the stream right now, and it is actually not my fault. Some of the tools we use, apps we use, just don't talk to each other anymore. So bear with me if certain things aren't popping up or displaying as they should. Come on, go away, browser. Come on, you can do it. All right, so let me go ahead and get these questions going here. All right, first one coming up from EKU Rory. What is your Halloween costume this year? Great question. I do still have a 9-year-old who likes to dress up, and I take her around the neighborhood. So I do typically like to throw on some outfit. Okay, last year I was a Swiftie. I wore a pink sports coat and super tight jeans and cool glasses. This year, though, she's going as Harley Quinn, at least the one styled after her appearance in the first Suicide Squad movie. So I'll be wearing it's a very cheap and goofy looking Batman zip up hoodie. And the reason I say it's goofy looking is because when you zip it up, it's the gray Batman outfit, gray and black, so all gray, black cape, that type of stuff. But when you zip it up, you can throw the hoodie on, and it gives you a Batman cowl. And again, the reason it's goofy is because it makes me look like, a slow person. Okay, so I hate to say it, but it's that's what I'm going as, slow Batman, if you will. All right, next question here coming from Nick DePorto. Who's cuter, Grogu or Neil? Okay, this is a tricky one. This is definitely a tricky one here. Who is cuter, Grogu or Neil? I think just for the fact that he is still considered a child, you got to go, well, hell, Matt, they're both childs, right? They're both children. I mean, Neil and them, they were, maybe in middle school, something like that. But Grogu, he's still coos and that type of stuff. So when it comes down to it, if we're talking cute Star Wars characters, I think Grogu has to take the cake here. And it looks like we got Burkhead Toys agreeing with me. So we got 2 for Grogu. What say you, a live stream chat? There's another one. Kramer's coming in with a Grogu as well. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and write this down. We might need to do a top, like a tier list maybe, or just a rank off of the cutest Star Wars characters of all time. How's that? Empire can do best characters of all time. We're going to do the cutest characters of all time because that's how we roll over here at the SWTS. Speaking of the SWTS, don't forget, we still put out our show on Wednesday, 6 p. East, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. One Wednesday, it'll be a pre-record. The other Wednesday, it'll be a live with yours truly. So we are in a live session this week, rocking and rolling, but we kicked off at 6 p. So come join along. We do instant premieres for the pre-record, so it's still kind of like a live stream. Kramer, that might be a you problem. I'm not seeing any issues over here on my side. All right, so hopefully it's not cutting out for everybody. Okay, next question coming from Based and Brazen. What's your favorite or least favorite tree memory? If you know, you know. All right, if he's talking about trees, probably blowing trees. Honestly, I think one of my favorite memories was way back when in college. Some buddies and I decided to roll a bunch of blizzies and rolled up to Cedar Point, proceeded to pipe down, I'd say at least 3 or 4 blizzies in the parking lot. And yeah, it made for an interesting trip to Cedar Point. I just remember walking in, and after taking maybe 13 steps, it just felt like I was never even going to get to the entrance. It felt like I was almost, drowning in quicksand. We were all looking at each other like, what the hell is going on here? I'm sure we all had interesting looking eyes. We made it into the park, and I think we lasted for a whopping 3 hours before we're like, you know what, we can't take this. We're tired, we're hungry, so we ended up just going to our hotel and then out to downtown Sandusky for the night. So that's probably one of my more favorite times, blowing trees, if you know what I mean. Hey there, storyteller. It has been a while. We're doing all right. We've had some changes on the show. Sometimes we do live, sometimes we don't. So that's where we're at. Oh, Kramer, appreciate you, brother, throwing in that super chat. We love super chats. If you want to throw one our way, we will not turn it away, okay? We will donate it to our charity, which is myself. So Kramer's asking, did you get Battlefield 6? No, I have not. Kramer, I hate to admit it, but I have not played a video game in months. I have not had the itch. I know Ghost of Yotei is out, and I feel like I'm missing out on that one, but I don't know. I started reading again, so you words and shit people got me caught up in that. Then I got the guitar, trying to still learn that, trying to still do all this damn Star Wars time shit on YouTube, so there just really hasn't been time for video games, and it kind of bums me out, considering video games were essentially my identity. I used to run a website. I was in the gaming media for almost a decade. I've been to every show you could think of as media. I used to get review copies, free consoles, TVs, you name it. And it's just, I don't know, it's all gone by the wayside. It's too much time to take up a video game these days. But I think if I get back, I want to finish the Donkey Kong on Switch 2. But then I think I'm going right to Ghosts of Yotei, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's right, League. It just, like, the older you get, obviously the more baggage and shit you have in your life. If you're married or if you have kids, that takes up time. So it is what it is, but I definitely miss playing games. All right, next question coming from good old Phil. What's the college football matchup you really want to see this year, not involving your team? So I can't say Ohio State. I've seen a few already, Phil. I always like watching Penn State underperform, so these past 3 weeks have been fun watching them play. I would say, let's see. Alabama's already played Georgia, I believe, so we can't say that. I guess I'll be most interested in the SEC championship game, whoever that is, be it Alabama, Georgia, or Alabama versus Texas, Texas A&M. I want to see what's coming out of there because, I mean, in the end, when it comes down to it, there's really only 2 conferences left that compete. It's the mega Big Ten now and the SEC. So I would say the SEC championship is probably the matchup I'm most interested in because I really think, and I hope to God, Ryan Day is going to get the Buckeyes to the Big Ten championship for the first time in over 4 years. All right, Phil continues on saying, I want to see Indiana versus Miami now after this past weekend. Think that could be really interesting. Also, Roll Tide. Boo on the Roll Tide, Phil, but you had a hell of a run, so I'm never going to feel bad for Bama fans, considering what you got to live through with Nick Saban for the past whatever it was before he retired last year. Okay, next question. This one's coming from Kramer. He's sticking with college football. We got a couple football questions this week, which I dig. I'm all for that. There's always time for Star Wars time, football time, Alien time, Mass Effect time, gaming time, Halo time. We have all the times at the SWTS. All right, so Kramer's asking here, thoughts on James Franklin being fired? All right, so that's the first one. I mean, listen, I'm not sure it makes sense to do it now because of how much money they owe him. I mean, he's owed like almost $60 million in a buyout. But the guy, he can't get it done. I mean, for what Penn State is, the money they put in there, I think he has only 1 or 2 wins against top 10 or top 5, and he underperforms. And losing 3 in a row, 2 to teams you should beat, when you were at one time considered the number 1 contender, you brought back a bunch of starters. Something is wrong at that program, and sometimes when it gets that bad, you have to start at the top. So, see you, Franklin. Just wasn't cut out for the big spotlight. Next question: will you be doing a deep dive for Predator Badlands after you see like y'all did for Alien Earth? I'm sure I'll do a little review on the SWTS, but we typically, unless it's a Star Wars movie, have not deep dived movies, and I can't ever rely on young Nick to go see new movies when they come out. It's just not really his bag. Maybe Nick plays more video games than me, but he does not seem to get out to the theaters as much as I do. All right, is that it? That is it for Ask Us Anything, everyone. So if you want to get involved, just make sure to check our prompts on Instagram, Discord. We got an open link in this description of this video right here. And YouTube is typically where you can find the prompt for Ask Us Anything. So get involved. Don't be left in the dark. Okay, let's see. Do we have buttons working yet? Nope, clearly not. It's kind of cool. Yay. Yay technology. Like, I legitimately hate tech. Never update software, okay? Never, ever update software, if you know what I mean. All right. So, real quick before I get into some Star Wars stuff on the Star Wars Time show, I did go check out Tron Ares last week, the third Tron movie, and hey, I don't know what to tell you. I think I movies like this that are visual spectacles, I kind of dumb myself down a little bit. I went into Tron Ares not knowing jack shit. I didn't watch any trailers. I just knew I wanted to watch it because it was Tron. I love Tron since the OGs. It's just, I dig the world. I dig the concept of having living cities and programs as people in our devices. I think it's cool as hell. So I know Tron Ares is essentially a failure on arrival. It barely made any money. People are poking holes in it left and right. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm telling you right now, I had a damn good time watching Tron Ares. The plot's nothing special. It's actually kind of ho-hum, if not completely just irrelevant to like anything that's happening in real world. It doesn't really try to teach you anything. It's not browbeating you. It's definitely not woke. I don't know. It's a plot. Okay. To me, where Tron Ares is great is in the visuals and the 9 Inch Nails score. That right there is enough justification for someone like me or people that enjoy going to a theater and seeing things that kind of wow their mind. That's enough to convince you to go check it out. And if you can check it out in Dolby Atmos or IMAX, 3D Atmos, whatever, it's a treat, okay? It is a fun movie. It looks great. I would tell you, if you're into extracurriculars, do some of those because you're going to be like, whoa, wow, I'm in the grid. I mean, I enjoyed it, okay? Is it the best movie of the year? Absolutely not. Is it the best Tron? Probably not. But I don't care what people are saying about Leto or the vapidness of Tron Ares. It's a damn fun movie. All right? So go check it out. All right. Hey, we got Doty in here. What's going on here, Devin? League's got an idea. Matt, I had some crazy idea for special topics. Since it's football season, you and Nick can put together your teams of Star Wars characters. You can discuss what positions you would put. I like that, League. I like that. Hold on. Let me write that down. See, you ask, you shall receive here at the Star Wars Time Show, especially if you're a paying member like League. Speaking of memberships, feel free to join down below for as low as $1.99 a month. You get some cool emojis and a Vader cat next to your name in live chats. Let me write this down. Nick and I field a team, like a fantasy team almost, of Star Wars characters and go head to head. All right. That is a really good idea, League, and I will probably get that done down the road. So thank you for that. League saying she doesn't like Leto. Hey man, I don't know. Like, what can I say? What can I say? You bow to no one, my friends. Good call back there, Doty from what was that? Lord of the Rings, the final one, Return of the King. Can you send me the link in Discord? What are you guys linking? I don't know what you guys are asking. I'm driving the shit by myself. I don't have Nick talking. I can't pay attention too much or I'll get lost to all you lovely people. So I will do my best to try to fold you in as I break things down, but I might miss some stuff here. All right. Anyways. All right. Michael Kramer. Look at this guy. Michael Kramer just became a sponsor. What a dude. What a dude, Kramer. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the team, bro. All right, so anyways, last words on Tron Ares. Go see it, okay? Who cares what other people say? You should only care about what I say, all right? You know what I mean? All right. Couple other Star Wars things before we get into the main topic, which is me analyzing Empire's 50 greatest Star Wars characters ever list. I'm going to be going 50 to 26, then Nick and I will be picking up next week with 25 through 1. But real quick, a little shameless plug here. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I released I don't know what the hell you would call it, an editorial, a think piece on YouTube called The True Power of the Force Explained More Than Just Jedi Mind Tricks. And listen, yes, Storyteller, the soundtrack is the shiz for Tron Ares. 9 Inch Nails coming out of retirement to do that, quite good. But anyways, I just want you a little call to action here. If you guys like our content, or if you like listening to me drone on, or if you're in the Star Wars and lore, I would love for more people to check out the True Power of the Force Explained video on our channel right now. So youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. I got it playing a little bit here in the background on the stream. I don't know. I'd like some feedback. I'd like a few more views. It hasn't really gone anywhere, as most of my content seems to happen. What happens to my content, I don't know what to tell you, people. I think it's good enough. I've seen some other trash out there that gets thousands and thousands of views, but for some reason, when I put thought, time, and effort into producing something, it goes nowhere. But this video is the first time I used AI to help me write the script, decide what images to use. I use it to create the images, to create some of the video. It's got clips from other Star Wars properties. I give it a dramatic reading, if anything else. So please check it out if that's something that sounds interesting to you. If anything, it's a good way to blow 12 minutes of your life. Just throw it on in the background. Get some views going for your boy over at the SWTS. See, there's Anakin struggling with the Force because it is more than just Jedi mind tricks. All right. Last little note before we get into the 50 greatest Star Wars characters ever, according to Empire Magazine. A little bit of sad news popped up yesterday. And, I typically don't get mixed up in this type of stuff. But I know... I know people get sad when famous people die or people they've appreciated in their life pass away. That is something I lack. I'm kind of a ding dong when it comes to emotions, especially celebrities dying. Like I appreciate celebrities like the rest of you, but when they pass, it doesn't affect me in the least. But I did want to bring this up right here that Drew Struzan, who is just a master of movie posters, passed away, I believe, at 78 yesterday. Obviously, Star Wars is why we're talking about him. But he did posters for Indiana Jones. A lot of Lucasfilm stuff, and they're just such classic posters. You might have first became aware of him with, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, or the Star Wars special editions. The dude just has a style, and if you are a Star Wars fan of any age, I guarantee you have looked in and appreciated one of his posters in your lifetime. So that's right, Storyteller. R.I.P. Drew. All right, what else is Storyteller saying here? Would you be open to free art commissions for your future lore vids? Yeah, I guess, Storyteller. You'd have to get me a contact, and I could run by some of the image concepts that my AI assistant comes up with me. You know what I mean? Burkhead Toys is saying Back to the Future. Struzan did that too. Makes sense. Like I said, Struzan is a Mac Daddy. He's a legend in movie marketing. So just wanted to mention that in case you missed it. Hopefully his family's doing all right, but may the Force be with you, Mr. Struzan. All right, now it's time for the good stuff here. It's time to start breaking down Empire's 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time. All right, so this is not my list. This is not Nick's list. This is the think tank over at Empire, who laid down the gauntlet. They started at 50 and they took it all the way to 1. I've looked through a good part of the list. The top 10 is definitely suspect. And I would say the back end, which we're going to cover today on this show, is a little suspect. So I'm just going to go through and kind of look at some of their rankings and be like, yeah, that's fair, or no, that sucks. And, do what I do. Just blow hot air out of my mouth about fake stuff, about a science fiction property or a science fiction fantasy property, whatever the hell you want to call Star Wars these days. Kramer saying we need Scott and Sally back. Unfortunately, Kramer, they have had to have been retired because YouTube told me that fully produced AI content could be problematic for the channel. So that's why I am starting to do some of these videos myself, and they still go nowhere. 200 views. So loser shit. All right, let's get to it. We're going to start at 50 and go to 26. Try to keep this as quick as I can. Like I said, some of these are going to be, yeah, they deserve to be there. Some are going to be like, what? Some will be like, maybe, maybe not. All right, so let's go ahead. We're breaking down Empire's 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time, starting at number 50, and it is Asajj Ventress. Right off the bat, I'm going to say this seems a little too low for Asajj. I can think of a few other characters that might be a better fit for number 50. I mean, Asajj has been around for well over 20 years if you include her appearance in Tartakovsky's Clone Wars micro-series. She started bad. She became a bounty hunter. She eventually teamed up with Ahsoka. And as we know, she gets it on with Quinlan Vos and really kind of turns things around to where we met her again in the final season of The Bad Batch. So to me, Asajj is a pretty meaty character. She has a long history. Her narrative has gone all over the place from being a Dooku's apprentice to essentially trying to save the Jedi Order with Quinlan Vos. So I'm going to say Asajj should definitely not be at number 50. I think that's a bit of a shame. That is a bit of a shame there, Empire. So shame. All right, number 49. This is another one I'll tell you right now is shameful. Neil from Skeleton Crew. How can Neil from Skeleton Crew be 49? I mean, come on. I know he's a new character. He definitely doesn't have the breadth of narrative that an Asajj would have, but this guy made his mark in a very short and quick time. I mean, Skeleton Crew was only around for not like a month and a half, if that. Neil and his family, they kind of took the world by storm. He was a very interesting character. He's not a Max Rebo, so we're not going to call him that. But I mean, just look at the dude. Look at Neil. How can Neil be 49? I do not agree with this whatsoever. Okay. So this is another one that we're going to have to call shame on. Shame on you, Empire. Shame. Now, don't ask me where I would rank these characters, because ranking 50 Star Wars characters sounds like a nightmare. I'm just here to make fun of other people's lists. You know what I mean? But so far, I'm not liking the tail end of this list. We went to Asajj to Neil, and look who's next at 48. K2SO? K2SO at 48? Really? I mean, here's another character. I mean, I guess K2, he's been around for almost 10 years now, if you count his debut back in Rogue One. Obviously, he stood out in that movie. His intro to Jyn is iconic. His death is even more iconic. And then we kind of got to see a little bit more of him in Andor Season 2. So I just think he's a droid that all fans already love and appreciate, and even new fans were probably could be influenced by him. So having K2 this low in the list too seems shameful to me. Shameful, very shameful. We got the live stream chatters. They're in there popping off right now. Storyteller's got some comments. Michael Kramer is calling bullshit. Storyteller, I don't know, maybe Storyteller thinks K2 should be 48. They're saying K2SO is just an aggressive 3PO. I don't know about that, but I think K2 deserves to be at least ranked in the 30s, maybe even the top 25. I mean, come on. I guess we're going to have to see who is in front of him, but K2SO at 48, shame. 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 All right, let's keep this thing going. We're at a good pace here. Vice Admiral Holdo at number 47. League is asking, before I talk about the Admiral here, League's asking, does the list explain why they are ranked the way they are? That's a good question. Maybe I should have read this. Blah, 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 blah. There are characters that define archetypes, others that defy them, some gloriously heightened or surprisingly human, even if they're bright green or made of metal. Beep, boop. Now, the Empire's team most passionate nerf herders, moof milkers, and all-around rebel scum have gathered to rank the 50 greatest characters in Star Wars, voting for faces across every canonical era of the saga, from the OT to the sequels and beyond, including the movies, streaming series, and animated shows. So it doesn't seem there was any sort of structure, League. They just picked their favorite, put them into a system, weighed them out, and here we go. All right. So here we go. Holdo at 47. Like League of Extraordinary Sixers, I agree. Holdo is fine in the 40s. In fact, you could have put her at 50 and beyond. I love Laura Dern, but Holdo, outside the Holdo maneuver, was kind of an annoying character, if you think about it. I mean, the fact that she's an admiral and is wearing like ball gowns was kind of weird. I guess General Leia was also dressed to the nines too, so odd choices there. But either way, she has an iconic look, a maneuver named after her. But I think that her ranking in the top 40s. Or the top 50, if you will, 40 to 50 does make sense. Does make sense. Storyteller calling her a beta Mon Mothma. I like it. It's good to have some people live in here today. I'm a little more comfortable doing this than it was weird. Nick and I doing a pre-record because we haven't done one of those in years, and I didn't quite know how to operate. Not keeping one eye on the stream and interacting with people live. Admiral Akbar comes in at 46. What the hell? They're just like, hey, if they're admirals, they're in their 40s. It's just like, this is one that, I mean, listen, if you really break it down, Admiral Akbar barely has any screen time. I mean, barely any. I know he gets fleshed out more in comics, but he shows up in Return of the Jedi and clearly has one of the most famous quotes in all of Star Wars. So that definitely gets him some credit here. He kind of just shows up around a war room table in The Force Awakens, and then he is unceremoniously sucked out of the bridge in The Last Jedi. So I think his claim to fame still is Return of the Jedi, and It's a Trap. As much as we love him and as iconic as he looks, I don't think I can argue with him being at 46. So far, the two admirals, I believe, are in a proper place. You know what I mean? All right, coming in at number 5 now, we got a fairly new character, first appeared in The Rise of Skywalker, and it looks like him, or at least his kind, the Anzalans, are going to have a big role to play in the Mando and Grogu movie, at least based on the trailer. But we got Babu Frick. Hey! Again, I love Babu. I do think he deserves to be on this list, but I really can't argue with Babu being at 45. I mean, outside of just being cute as hell, I mean, he clearly would make our cute Star Wars character breakdown when we get to that. But in terms of his placement in the 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time, according to Empire Magazine, I think 45 is fair. I think 45 is fair. Not a lot of screen time. It does have some iconic sayings, the hey, and what he does with 3PO. But 45 works for me. All right, coming in at 44. This one seems a bit sacrilegious. I don't know, maybe these people didn't watch the Clone Wars or they tuned out of Bad Batch, but they have, get ready for this, my friends, if you're not on the live stream, they have Captain freaking Rex at 44. Captain Rex at 44. One of the main characters in 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, arguably a side main character in the Bad Batch. We know what he did. I mean, he was General Skywalker's second-hand man. He was Ahsoka's mentor and best friend eventually. He and Ahsoka survived Order 66 together. Rex helped to funnel clones away and bring them to Pabu so they could live out the rest of their lives in peace. I would say any prequel fan probably has a poster, at least an action figure of Captain Rex. So Captain Rex being at 44 is insane. And yeah, Storyteller reminded me here, if we're going to run with it, which I do agree with you, Storyteller. He's also the old guy in Return of the Jedi that is on the Endor Moon Strike Force with General Solo. So I don't know. Rex being at 44 just seems sacrilegious to me. So this is shame. Shame on Empire. You know what? We're going to keep the shame train going because coming up next at 43, we have Kanan Jarrus. Kanan Jarrus, voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. in the Star Wars Rebels animated series. In my opinion, he may have the most emotional on-screen death of any Star Wars character, be it animated or live action. What he does for his lady love and his friends in the final season of Star Wars Rebels is one of the most shocking and sad moments to witness as a Star Wars fan. I love Kanan. I really do. I think Kanan was a great character, even if he was, just another Jedi that survived Order 66. But I mean, Kanan even made it into the beginning of Bad Batch. He he helped train a Boken Jedi in Ezra. He helped Sabine kind of figure out some of her shit with the Darksaber, and you could argue maybe that's why she wanted to become a Force user under Ahsoka. So I'm not saying Kanan's like top 20 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, but he's definitely not 43. So shame on you, Empire. Shame. Okay. What is going on? It's like the curse of the 40s. I just do not get this. At 42, you guys ready for this? At 40 freaking 2, Grand Admiral Thrawn. What? Are you serious? Like, are they ranking just the Tic Tac Thrawn that Nick dubbed from Ahsoka? Are they ranking Thrawn from the novels, Thrawn from Heir to the Empire, Thrawn from Star Wars Rebels? I don't care which one they're picking. He ain't 42. I mean, Thrawn, for being formerly EU, he's now canon, he's got to be one of the most iconic Star Wars villains out there besides Palpatine, Vader, Maul, those types. Like, not being Darkseid, not having the Force. I mean, Thrawn is a pimp. Let alone he has blue skin and red eyes. He's an alien in the Imperial Navy, something that Palpatine did not allow, but he knew how awesome Thrawn was, so he's like, you know what? I'll kind of let my xenophobia go. I think Thrawn is a Mac, and he is well worth being ranked higher than number 42. Like Storyteller is saying here, this is a joke. Thrawn almost crushed the Republican legends with a handful of ships. In canon, he got the Night Sister Coven and zombies. Come on. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying, Storyteller. And that's why people have been talking about this list, because it's got crazy shit on it like this. Thrawn at 42, Kanan at 43, Rex at 44. I mean, you could argue all of them should be in the 30s, if not the 20s. Some of you may even put them in your top 15. So this is an odd one here with Grand Admiral Thrawn. All right, up next, coming in at 41, Kenobi. We have the four-armed saber twirler himself, General Grievous. I don't know what to say about this one. Grievous, for the most part, outside of the 2003 Clone Wars and then the Clone Wars animated series, doesn't have a lot of play in live action. He kind of gets got like a dope against Kenobi with a blaster. But he is cool as hell looking. You got to love that Grievous, used to be an organic that shoved his meat parts into a droid exoskeleton, kind of a precursor for Darth Vader, living in a robotic suit to keep you alive. He's got his cough from Mace Windu choking out his windpipe. I don't know. I don't know if I can get angry at Grievous at 41. He definitely deserves to be in the top 50, but I'm not really getting that angry that he's at 41. I don't really think he's a character that, I don't know if he resonates with a lot of people here. So I'm not really going to fight Grievous being at 41 here. So we'll keep him at 41. That's okay. No shame on this one. All right, now we're at 40. And we have Rose Tico. Listen, I wasn't one of these people that hates The Last Jedi. I'm not one of these people that hates Rose Tico and thinks Kelly Marie Tran should go, off herself like some horrible people did to her back in the day when she had to quit social media. So this has nothing against Kelly Marie or even the character herself. Rose Tico, outside of The Last Jedi, she's completely sidelined in Tross. Like JJ just completely discounted her storyline, her story thread with Finn, and what she gave us in TLJ. It's like, she just didn't have enough time to stew. Didn't really, I don't know. Her arc just seems odd, so I can't complain about this one either. In fact, Rose Tico, if she's going to make this list, and I hate to say this because I know Kelly Marie took it on the chin, but she should probably be 50. At least out of what I've seen so far, Rose should be number 50. So I guess I am going to shame on this one. All right, we are moving into the 30s. With 39, we have Moff Gideon. He's been kind of the main villain, at least through the first 3 seasons. 3 seasons, not 3 seasons. 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, played by, Giancarlo Esposito, who is a fantastic actor and excels at bringing villains to life. Listen, I dig Moff Gideon. When we saw him at the end of Mandalorian Season 1, when he cuts out that TIE fighter with the Darksaber, you're like, oh, okay. And then you learn what he did on Mandalore. He's essentially the architect of the Night of 1,000 Tears, or whatever it's called. The bombardment of Mandalore, essentially glassing the planet and destroying them and fracturing their culture. I think Moff Gideon deserves to be on this list. And I don't know. I can't argue with him being at 39. I'm okay with that. I think Moff Gideon being at 39 makes sense. That definitely does not upset me or make me want to, stab myself. Okay, so we'll leave Moff Gideon at 39. That's okay. I guess you could argue he probably should be in the 40s, so we could slide down Rex, Thrawn, and Kanan. Actually, yeah, Moff Gideon should not be ranked higher than those 3. So this is bullshit too. All right, this is bullshit too. Okay, up next at 38, Ezra Bridger, all the way back at 38. Really? Come on. Ezra he's kind of the main character of Star Wars Rebels. He reappeared again in the Ahsoka series. He was directly responsible for beating Thrawn in the skies above Lothal. I think Ezra is a Mac Daddy. I love Ezra Bridger. So this is again blasphemy on the part of Empire and their nerf herders and their blue milk drinkers, or whatever the hell they call themselves, ranking this list. Ezra should be much higher than 38. Honestly, him and Kanan should be kind of paired together. Maybe in the 20s, something like that. Top 15, I don't know, but 38 is way too low of a ranking for Ezra Bridger. See, this is what I don't get. They got Baylan Skoll now at 37. I guess it speaks volumes for Ray Stevenson and how he portrayed the character. He was imposing. He was manly. He was evil, but not like the mwahaha evil. Like he had a clear purpose, and we'll learn more about him in Ahsoka season 2 and what he was up to with the Gods of Mortis. But I mean, that was it. Like he's just in the Ahsoka series, and we have nothing else about him. We don't know shit about him. So for that fact alone, I'm not sure how Baylan Skoll comes in at 37, ahead of people like Thrawn or Kanan. He just, I don't know. He just doesn't feel like he's earned being ranked higher than some of these characters that have been around for a lot longer. Like, I totally get the point storyteller's making in the chat, saying he's a fresh new character. We wanted something fresh, and he added so much to the potential lore. That's why fans resonated with him. I get it. I know why Baylan is on this list, and he should be on this list. It just seems like him being ranked ahead of some of these hardcore characters, Thrawn especially, seems a bit odd. Seems a bit odd to me, so I'm going to shame this one as well. These 30s aren't going too well. All right, coming in at 36, Mace Windu. Yep, sounds good to me. I'd argue you could put Mace Windu in the 40s, okay? I do think he has to make the top 50. I'm not saying that, but you've heard my opinion on Mace Windu before. I think he was a dickhead. You could argue Mace Windu did more to drive Anakin to the dark side than the Emperor himself. The way he treated him, the way he castrated him, demoralized and demeaned him. I just always thought Mace Windu was a dickhead. I love Samuel L. Jackson. He's the man. But I've never been a huge fan of Mace Windu. Although I did buy the hot toy, which still does not make sense to this day. I don't have the Qui-Gon Jinn hot toy, and I love that character. But I have the Mace Windu hot toy, and I do not like the character. Hey there, Skyrim Clips. How's it going? Just breaking down Empire Magazine's 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time, or they think so. But for me, Mace Windu, way too. He's probably even too high at 36. I would bump him back. I'd put him in the high 40s and slide down Rex, Kanan, or Thrawn, if you know what I mean. Skyrim Clips ran into Hayden last weekend. Very nice. I'm guessing, what was it, New York Comic-Con? That's a good run in there. I saw some people were running into Hayden and Rosario at the con. Not a bad little team up. And we'll be seeing them together again in Ahsoka Season 2. So yeah, Mace Windu, you can be on this list, just not at 36. Ooh, Skyrim Clips also hanging out with Ian, a.k.a. Palpatine. Okay, at 35, Serial Karn. Oh, man. Listen, we all love the cereal eater, okay? I really do dig Serial Karn, and I think there's a case for him being in the top 50, but in the 30s again just is not right. Not when we have Kanan, Thrawn, Rex, and some others in the 40s. So as much as I appreciate what Kyle Solar and what Lord Gilroy did with this character, Serial Karn, 35 is way too high of a ranking. Like these people must have had hard-ons for Andor or something, but there's decades and decades and decades of characters and their narratives that came before Serial that probably warrant a higher ranking. So I don't think Serial should be 35. He should be up into the 40s, if you know what I mean. Well, you heard me just talk about him, and here he is now on the list. At 34, we have Qui-Gon Jinn. I honestly, his quote is one I use on a daily basis. I try to beat it into my kid's head. because I really do think it is a great quote to live by. Your focus determines your reality. For that quote alone, Qui-Gon Jinn should at least be in the 20s. So again, I'm going to disagree with his ranking at 34. But that quote is life. That quote is life. Think about it. Think about what it's saying. You know, let's say, your hand's hurting or your leg's hurting. If you focus on that, then everything's going to hurt and you're not going to be having a good time. You're going to feel miserable. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel down. But if you don't focus on that and you focus on something else, guess what? That ache is not going to ache as bad. He is not wrong. What is wrong is his placement on this list. He should be way higher than 34. So get on out of here, Empire. Shame on you. In fact, I mean, look who's at 33. Master Soul, played by Ling Jong-jae. Like, I was a fan. I'm a Skeleton Crew fan. Remember, we're Disney shills if you're new here. Okay, we do get paid to say positive things about Disney, even if we hate it. We're those types of people. Just kidding for those that can't understand sarcasm, by the way. But how the hell is Master Soul ranked higher than Qui-Gon Jinn? I don't know. I guess I'm asking myself. Hey, young Nick, what do you think about it? I don't know, man. Like, like he just is like, yeah. So Nick agrees with me as well. Skyrim clips coming in. Qui-Gon is the best Jedi for real. He awesome. So yeah, I mean, come on. I do believe Master Soul has a place on this top 50, not above someone like Qui-Gon Jinn. Like I said, he fits better in the 40s if we're keeping him on this list. So another shameful pick from whoever the hell did this list at Empire Magazine. We would never make these sort of choices at the Star Wars Time Show. All right, if you just tuned in, what we're going through Empire Magazine's 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time. I'm breaking down 50 through 26 and let you know how I feel about them. Next week, Nick and I will pick up at 25 and go all the way down to number 1. And I'll tease it right now. Number 1 is crazy. All right, it's just absolutely nutty who they picked for number 1. So make sure to tune in next week when we do an instant premiere 6 p. Wednesday, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. All right, so after Master Soul, we're coming in at 32. Kino Loy, One Way Out, One Way Out, One Way Out. Now, if Nick was here, Nick would be like, Kino Loy shouldn't even be in the top freaking 50. But I'm gonna go ahead and squash that talk, okay? Shame on you, young Nick. Shame on you. I think Kino Loy most definitely deserves to be on this list. 32 might be a little high, but I can't complain about Mr. Serkis getting his character on this list. I still think it's one of the best moments in Star Wars when he's leading that prison revolt, the escape. And unlike Nick, I do not get angry that he did all of it knowing that he was not going to be able to jump and swim with everyone else. So I think Kino Loy should be on this list, probably not at 32, maybe like 39, 40, something like that. All right, let me take a break real quick. We got Skyrim clips saying, who is your number 1 Jedi, mate? I don't know. Like, I always feel like this is a cop-out. But I'm probably going to go one of the Skywalkers. And it's hard not to pick Anakin, even though I'm not a huge fan of how he's portrayed in the prequel films. He's still my man, Anakin Skywalker, that becomes my main man, Darth Vader. If I'm not going to go Anakin, I got to go Luke and what he did in Return of the Jedi and how he became a Jedi by throwing aside the Emperor's advances. And, unlike his father, he did not fail the test and became a Jedi Knight. So there you go, Skyrim clips. There's your answer for you. All right, number 31, we have Chopper. Chopper at 31. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, you could probably argue he could potentially be in the top 25, but you got to think, I mean, there's some heavy hitter characters that still have not been brought up. So Chopper in 30, maybe top 30, top 28. I'm down for it. You got to love this droid, though. I mean, he truly is the first murder bot. He was a murder bot before Skarsgård was a murder bot on Apple TV Plus, if you catch my drift. But you gotta love the dude. Started in Rebels, live action in Ahsoka, He wanted to kill a bunch of people on Corellia in Ahsoka by dropping, bombs just on populated areas. So you know what? I guess he could be ranked in the top 30. Let's move him to 28, maybe 25, something like that. But Chopper most definitely deserves to be on this list because he doesn't give a F. All right, number 30. I like his quote. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. All right, Skyrim clips coming in with their top Jedi. We got Qui-Gon and Anakin. Favorite Sith, Darth Malgus. Nice picks. All right, like I said, we have now made it to the next tier. We are at number 30, and we talked about her lover, I believe, at 35. So we got Dedra Meero at 30. You know what? I think that's a pretty good spot for Dedra. Dedra was one of the best space Nazis I think we've seen portrayed working in the Empire. She was cold, calculated, but became even more interesting with her odd relationship with Serial in Andor Season 2, and then ultimately her fate ending up on what looks like the same prison that Cassian was himself a part of. She is quite memorable. She was a much bigger player in the events of Andor than Serial himself. So unlike Serial, I do think Dedra is pretty aptly ranked at 30. I think you could argue you could probably bump her up a bit in the 30s, but 30 to 40 makes sense for Dedra. Doesn't make sense for Serial, but for Dedra, it does. She was just you really haven't gotten to spend that sort of intimate time with an Imperial like we did with Dedra, and I think that's one of the reasons she kind of stands out. So I'm all right with her being at 30. So let's see who is at 29. The Stranger, aka Khmer, the best part of the Acolyte series. I mean, quite frankly, this guy played by Manny Jacinto was fucking amazing. I mean, he looked awesome. His lightsaber skills were amazing. His grasp with the dark side was amazing. His Darth Grin helmet is awesome. Kylo Grin, whatever you want to call him. I absolutely fell in love with the Stranger. I think he's fantastic. Just got my little Hot Toys version of him right here. So, if I'm buying toys of a character, that means I'm a big fan. So I would argue the Stranger should at least be in the top 25. The way this guy fought with his sabers, the way he used the dark side to snap necks and just absolutely brutalize Jedi was a sight to see. I still stand by it. I think the Acolyte has some of the best lightsaber action in all of Star Wars, and it's because of the Stranger. All right? There's no doubt in my mind the Stranger is the man. So I'd argue he's ranked too low here. He should be at least in the top 25, if you know what I mean. It's a shame we're not going to get to see any more of Khmer, because if we got season 2 of Acolyte, we would have got some sort of Darth Plagueis interaction. Get more into the dark side, what those two were up to, why they were still working together, or why they may have been split. Why was Khmer going after Osha? There's some pretty hardcore lingering questions left at the end of the Acolyte, which has since been canceled. But out of any of the characters, and I did appreciate most of the cast from the Acolyte, the Stranger, aka Khmer, was heads and tails the number one new character brought forth from that franchise. So 29 to me is a bit shameful. He should be higher up, 25 at minimum. All right, number 28, Padme. Padme at 28? The mother of the Skywalker twins? The reason for Anakin Skywalker's fall to the dark side at 28? Are you freaking kidding me? The star of 3 films? The star of the Clone Wars animated series? This to me, my friends, is pretty obscene that Padme is all the way at 28. I mean, you just think of what she is responsible for, and just in terms of the overall Skywalker saga. I mean, without Padme, we don't have the twins. Without Padme, we don't have the fall. I guess you could argue that might have been better for the galaxy, right? Wasn't it Nick or some of you fandos out there saying Padme is actually the reason that the Galactic Republic crumbled because she could not stop flirting with a young boy? But yeah, Padme at 28 seems a little ridiculous. I think she should be top 25 at minimum. I don't know if she's top 10, but my God, I mean, just the costumes she wore alone in the prequels warrant her to be ranked higher on this list. So this one is a big time shame. I'm going to display it again from League. She had the shame with the bells. You know what we're doing, Game of Thrones. Let's go. Yeah, that's crazy. Based and Brazen, what's going on, homie? Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a while. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat, my friend. All right. So we only got a few more. Again, I'm stopping at 26, then we'll pick up with 25 next week with my man, Young Nick. But don't worry, the show isn't going to end once I hit 26. We still got the fan segment to get through. So we get, another 15 minutes here and we'll be out. The shows are going to be shorter than you're used to, which I think is probably a good thing, because who the hell wants to sit around for 2.5 hours and listen to my happy ass talk about Star Wars, or listen to Nick's, somewhat monotone ass talk about Star Wars. But Padme being at 28 seems kind of insane. All right, moving right along here. Let's see what's we miss you too, Base. We miss you too, brother. Let's see who comes in at 27. Grand Moff Tarkin. Grand Moff Tarkin coming in at number 27. I don't know. I don't know if I hate this, honestly. I really don't know if I can argue with this pick at 27. I mean, Tarkin is fantastic, especially the Peter Cushing version, the one portrayed in A New Hope. I mean, just absolutely iconic. I mean, just the angular contours of that dude's face just spelled and evoked a level of evilness. I mean, he's blowing up whole planets with Death Stars. We see him in Rogue One jockeying with his own, with his brethren in the Imperial Navy, dicking over Krennic. Blowing up Scarif and actually hitting Krennic with the laser. I mean, this guy was evil. What he did, the Tarkin massacre from Andor and all that type of shiz. So, what planet was that? Damn it. I can't believe I'm forgetting this type of stuff already. This just goes to show you I'm getting older and I probably have abused my brain a little too much with booze and trees. Oh, Gorman. There you go. Right? The Tarkin massacre took place on Gorman. So yeah, I think Grand Moff Tarkin he's top 30. He's pretty iconic, especially. I mean, listen, when I was a little kid, I used to think he was Vader's boss. That's how manly he was. That's how commanding he was in A New Hope. So I can't really argue Tarkin being at 27. I think that's a pretty good placement. And like Storyteller saying in the live stream chat, in the comics, I mean, he's even more ruthless with some of the shit he would get into, the way he would, help Vader train, or just the way he'd torment some of his subordinates. So, yeah, I mean, evilness alone, blowing up a planet, that kind of warrants you being a memorable and great character. So, Tarkin at 27, not bad. All right, so this is going to be the last character I'm going to be breaking down by myself. Next week, we'll pick up with 25 through 1. So here we go, number 26. Oh, my God. Boba Fett at 26. Boba Fett. I mean, I guess just reading kind of what the Empire people were saying about him. I mean, even though they used a picture from him from The Mandalorian, his initial debut to fans was during the OT, with Empire Strikes Back into Return of the Jedi. He had 4 lines, 27 words, 11 scenes, 390 seconds. I mean, that's all we had of Boba Fett. So if they should have clarified this and said this is Bozo Fett. I could see Bozo Fett being ranked at 26, but the new Fett, the Fett that we now have seen in The Mandalorian and then in his own series, The Book of Boba Fett, even me, someone that went ham on the concept of Boba Fett being a bozo as portrayed in the OT, I have a hard time seeing him at 26. He's an iconic mofo. I mean, people love this guy. People love Boba Fett. I mean, people love him so much. Years ago, when I went on my Bozo Fett tirade and started calling them out and screaming at them, they left the show, never to return. They thought I was too mean about Boba Fett. So I'm kind of sticking up for him. Bozo Fett at 26, sure. Boba Fett, I don't know. At least top 25. But that's where we're going to stop for this one. So please make sure to tune in next week. We'll be instant premiering part 2 of our breakdown of Empire's 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time. Nick and I will be picking up with 25, taking it through one. Probably going to have a little bit deeper discussion because there'll be 2 of us. So make sure to stay tuned for part 2. But now it is time for the fan segment. We do it every week. There's 2 ways to get involved. You can play with us and ask us anything. You can look for the question of the week, which we usually post on show day or a day or 2 earlier. We throw it up on Discord, YouTube, Instagram, I think even Twitter. We typically ask fans questions that relate to our main topic. So this week, naturally, we're asking them, hey, which Star Wars character would you rank at number 50? So let's see what they had to say. But first, I must respond to a super chat from Based and Brazen. Thank you, my friend. We always appreciate the super chats over here. And Based is saying, anyone else been digging the new edit styles on IG Reels for Star Wars edits, especially the Anakin Vader one? Is that the official Star Wars Based? Because I know it's not my edits, because my edits suck. So if it's the official one, I might have missed it, but thank you for the chat. We speak your name. Hope you're doing well. All right, like I said, let's go ahead and switch over to question of the week. See if my any of my buttons are working here. I'm guessing it's going to be a big no. I hate technology. I absolutely hate technology. Okay. It's just, I don't want to go into it, but I had to update OBS. I had to update the vertical plugin for OBS. I had to update my Stream Deck. And after those 3 updates, none of them really talk together anymore. So when I use my Stream Deck, I had buttons programmed to just do stuff for me. It only works on the horizontal feed, not the vertical feed. So enough's enough. It's my fault. We'll get it fixed hopefully at some point in time. But even the fix they told me to look into is not working, even though I tested it early today and it worked just fine. You know, if I hit the Slack off button, Slack should turn off. Oh, hey, there, now it works. It's like, what the hell? Hey, you know what? It is the Star Wars time show, so I guess it's par for the course. All right. Hold on, sorry. Should have hit the cough button there. Like I said, a little more difficult to do this when it's just one man driving the ship here. And I'm trying to also manage the live stream and a bunch of buttons here in the control room. But I'll do it. So like I said, it's time for question of the week responses. We put them out on our socials. You just have to find them and then respond to them. So I would recommend turning on notifications for our account so you can actually see it. But we asked the fans this week, what Star Wars character would you rank as number 50 if you had to choose the 50 greatest characters of all time? And I clearly sent our fans for a loop on this one. They did not understand the question. I thought it was pretty clear, but that's okay. I will do better, all right? I'll do better. Don't forget to hit the polls. We got the polls in the live stream chat, essentially asking you all, who got done dirty the worst in Empire's 50 to 26 Star Wars rankings? You can pick Boba Fett, Mace Windu, Thrawn, or K2SO. Excuse me. And we haven't done this in a while, but our top fans, so the leaderboards for the live stream chat right now, we got Based and Brazen at number 1. At, who the hell is this at number 2? I'm guessing Mac maybe at number 2. And at number 3, I think it was the Skyrim. So kudos to you all for being active in the live stream chat. Up in the vertical, chat room. We've got Base is coming in 3 over there and 2 no names. So welcome everybody. All right, so let's see what the fans had to say to our question of the week. Up first, we have Barron's Black Series, Coleman Trebor. Who the hell is Coleman Trebor? I don't even know who that is. Let me look that up real quick. Coleman Trebor. Oh, okay. He's that goofy-looking Jedi that kind of gets flung off the balcony in Attack of the Clones when they raid the Geonosian arena. You know, he kind of has like a dinosaur head. That's who that is. So, all right. I could see that. Barron's Black Series. I ain't got any problem with that. Our boy Kramer saying Death Sticks guy. All right. He's not bad at number 50, although that might even be too generous. All right. We got Phil saying, I'll say Finn. A lot of unfulfilled potential is about the best I can say for the character. Yeah, I mean, Finn being at 50 kind of makes sense. He's another character in the sequel trilogy that you thought was going this way, but then he pivoted that way and never really made it back the other way. So, is what it is. Phil putting Finn at 50. All right, here's a few right here. Joshua Blair Photography. Max Rebo is who he'd put at 50. League of Extraordinary Sixers. Maz Kanata. Too many questions and no answers with her plotline. That's right. You know, she still owes us an explanation how she got the Skywalker family blade in her possession and gave it to Rey. She said she was going to tell the story just at a later date. That never happened because yay sequels. All right, Burkhead Toys. Babu Frick. Well, if Burkhead's still here, I'm sure they are glad to know that Babu Frick did make the list, but he was ranked even higher than 50. I think he was at 46 or something. And then Mando Pirate Admiral Holdo putting her at 50. Again, like I said, I think she was at 47. 50 makes sense too. Or she doesn't even need to be on the list. So thanks for playing in the question of the week responses. Like I said, just make sure you're following us on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, Discord, YouTube. Check it out and respond when you see it. Hey there, Cole Cowan. We got our Scottish boy coming in here. Hey, bro, love from Scotland. Met Hayden and Rosario last weekend. I'm still buzzing. Oh, nice. I saw that announced somewhere. I don't know if that was on like Beyond the Dunes Sea or Determined Focus Pod, one of the shows that people actually watch and interact with. So kudos to you. It's always good to see Cole coming back to the SWTS, the show that has been forgotten by most fans. So anyways, here we go. It's time to switch things up to close out the show with our final segment in the end of show fan segment, and that is the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features. The way to participate in this one is all through Instagram. If you could, use the hashtag Star Wars Time Show, but most importantly, this is how you can get considered for the top 5. You need to do add tag at starwarstime.show. Then either myself or Nick, I think for the solo shows, it'll be me picking. For the pre-record shows, hopefully it's Nick picking. We will pick our top 5 out of those tagged shots. All right, so let's see who made the grade this week. Remember, I gotta hit a bunch of buttons and hope they actually work. Doesn't look like they're working anymore. Oh my God, I love it. You've got to love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's see who made the top 5 this week according to yours truly. Don't forget to sub to the channel if you like what you're listening to, or if you want to go a little deeper and get some extra perks, consider becoming a channel member for as low as $1.99 a month. You'll get yourself the Vader Cat next to your name in chats, plus you have access to special emojis. That does include a Darth Xenomorph. That's definitely worth $2 a month. All right, so let's go ahead and see who made the top 5. All right, up first, we have a great shot here from dankferric.toys. It's like it's as if during the Clone Wars, the good guys were asked to cut a promo for Coca-Cola. I don't know. I just love this shot. We've got Rex And these are all Black Series figures, it looks like. We got Rex, Ahsoka, a Anakin-themed can of Coke, Anakin, and then General Kenobi. And Anakin just has his arm around the Coke can, his leg up, pressed on it. So does Ahsoka. But it's just like, they took time out of battling, out of fighting the Separatists to cut a little promo spot for Coke. So I dig this shot. I like sometimes when toys are mixed in with real life objects. It does something for me. So good one here from dankferric.toys over on Instagram. Make sure to give them a follow if you haven't done so already. And if you are on the live stream, or if you're watching the live stream, League of Extraordinary Sixers just put up all our custom emojis for you to check out. And then here is the Darth Zeno. Good stuff there. Cole Cowan saying, it's easy to get the Cokes in the USA. There are none in UK, or at least where I stay. Yeah, I Dank Ferric, I believe, is in South America. I know they're not in the States, so I'm not sure how they secured the Coke cans, but they got them. I stayed away from that promo. I remember I got mixed up in that with the prequels. I don't know if it was Coke or Pepsi, but I'm sure I've got 25-plus-year-old cans of Pepsi or Coke in my vault somewhere. It's just not my level of collecting these days. I've moved into the even dumber shit, buying Hot Toys, which at this point I essentially could have put my kid through a year of college with as much as I spent on them. Anyways, let's continue on with the top 5. So that's Dank Ferric over there. Up next, we have a fun shot from Zevipats underscore toy photo, XEVIPATS underscore toy photo over there on Instagram. And it's, again, I love serious Star Wars toy photography. I also love silly Star Wars toy photography. Kind of like a few weeks ago from Karen Kolsch, we had pit droids in their bathroom, one taking a dump, the other one in the shower. But what we got here from Zevipats is some OG stormtroopers, shredding on the skateboard. In fact, you got one trooper doing, it looks like an ollie, a jump over 3 other stormtroopers who are laying down in an alley. It's just fun. It's like, hey, these stormtroopers are on their break. They got a boom box out there. They got a bottle of water. Looks like they got themselves a Domino's pizza. It's just a fun setup from Zevipat's toy photo. What else were these stormtroopers supposed to do? They need a break as well. I'm not sure why they don't take off their armor when they want to skateboard, but here we go. Looks like they're ready to make their debut in TNC Surf Design. Now that is a classic game if you're old enough. So make sure to give them a follow on Instagram, Zevipats underscore toy photo. Up next in our top 5, we have a great scene of some of the OGs from Mando underscore mugshots on Instagram. In this image, if you're not on the live stream, what you will see are the dogs, the OGs. We've got Chewbacca, Luke in his yellow jacket, and Han in his classic Empire getup. And they're like running through a hall of a space station or a starship, guessing it's an Imperial starship. You got Luke flinging the Force at a trooper. You got Chewie blasting another one, and Han running behind them. So it's like the 3 amigos getting shit done, kicking ass, taking names, and R2's even in the background, which makes this shot even better. So this is from Mando underscore mugshots over on Instagram, always putting up quality work. Next up, we have a fantastic shot from Burkhead Toys, all one word, on Instagram. And I know Burkhead's done these before where he kind of takes a close-up of a character's helmet and then reflects other characters in that character's eyepiece. And this time, he's got a 3/32 clone, so Ahsoka's clone. So it's got its helmet painted with Ahsoka's orange markings. But then in his visor, you can see 2 of his brothers flanking Ahsoka, who is right in the middle. So this is it's a fantastic, not even just macro type of shot, but idea and execution from Burkhead Toys. This is one that around these parts, the SWTS HQ, we would call a banger or a maybe even a wall hanger banger. So good looking stuff here. Burkhead Toys on Instagram. Not sure if they're still in the chat, but thanks for sticking around and watching this silly little show. But great work on this pick. All right, and last but certainly not least, in this week's top 5, we talked about him, The Stranger. He was in Empire's rankings, probably a little too low in the rankings. He should have been ranked higher in the top 25, according to me. But we've got this great shot from Jedi_Journal of Khmer. And what I like about it is this is one of the only shots I've seen of the Stranger not wearing like his cloak. All right, so this thing's actually off. He's just out there flexing those big ass guns and his gauntlet and his saber's lit up. So it's just, it's kind of an intimidating pose. He's got his grin helmet on. He's like, I'm gonna kill you. Ha ha ha. I'm gonna snap your neck. What's the material in their helmet again, in his helmet, that can short out a lightsaber? I can't believe I'm forgetting this type of stuff. Anybody in the live stream chat, do you remember that? There's Burkhead Toys putting up the thank you, you're welcome. It was great looking shot. All right, people. Well, that does it. So, like I said, this wraps this live stream. We'll be coming at you next week with a pre-record, but we will be doing an instant premiere, which means we can still come in here and party it up in the live stream chat. Myself or Nick will try to be in there to hang out with you for a little bit, or maybe even the whole time. But Nick and I will be coming back for part 2 of Empire Magazine's 50 Greatest Star Wars Characters Ever list. We'll be picking up at 25, going all the way down to 1, and debating with each other if they deserve to be on the list, if they deserve to be ranked higher or lower. So don't forget to tune in. And like I said, if you're new here, we would love you to subscribe to the channel. If you want to push things a little bit, maybe consider becoming a channel member for as low as $1.99. Chop! All right, my friends, keep the good word out there. We might not be doing the same type of show week to week, but we have not gone anywhere. We are still here bringing you 4 shows a month, 2 with Nick and I, 2 with just myself. So please keep believing in the mantra. There's always time for Star Wars time. All right. Tell your friends. We've just moved the podcast fully to Spotify as well. Cortosis, thanks, League. Cortosis is the mineral in Stranger's helmet. I feel like an idiot. I'm so stupid. But like I said, we're still here. We've gone nowhere. Keep pumping us up. Podcasts move over to Spotify. So you'll get the video version or audio versions on other podcast platforms. We're just hosting with Spotify now, but it should still go out to iTunes and stuff like that. Just know if you are listening on audio platforms that are not Spotify, some of the old episodes now are going to have like a 2 or 3 minute delay before the show begins. That's because it's pulling from Spotify's feed, which is all video, and we usually have a little bit of standby time. So I doubt anyone's going to listen to old episodes, but just in case, that's a pro tip. All right. So if you are a Spotifyer, we should be up there tomorrow, Thursday, October 16th. New home of the Star Wars Time Show. Keep pumping us up. Tell people to, hey, try them out. They're new now. Sometimes they're not together. If you hate Matt, you're out of luck because now he does a show by himself 2 times a month. But if you like when Matt or Nick together, you are in luck because they still do 2 shows a month. All right. Let us know how we're doing. Bring some family, bring some friends, bring your pets. We could always use new subs, more viewers, more everything. More! I'm doing my best Kylo Ren from The Last Jedi. All right, my friends, it's time to say goodbye. But if you do listen to the Star Wars Time Show, if you check out Star Wars Time Show content, the Force will be with you always.